Hi guys, and welcome back to Gas City Gaming. In this video we're going to be taking a look at my personal Amonkhet pre-release experiences, the decks I went with, what cards really performed for me, what didn't perform as good as I think it would, what really overperformed for me, how I did, and the prize packs I won will also be opening in this video, so we can check those out as well. So here goes. My first pre-release was the Friday midnight pre-release. Now, I did work at 9 the next morning, but I was there till about 4. It was just a really tired next day. So for my first deck, I ended up going Jund. I didn't open a lot of great creatures or even cards in blue and white, so I ended up going Jund 3-color. I was a little bit nervous about 3-color. I didn't have a ton of fixing, but really at the midnight release, I actually went 3-color at all the pre-releases, but at the midnight release I didn't have any troubles with it, so that was nice. I did get a 1 painted bluff to help me fix a little bit, but I didn't have to worry about it because most of my creatures were just the single color cost. They weren't, I think I had one that was multiple green cost, but still, it's ended up just fine. So in round 1, game 1, I played this guy right here, the Manticore or the Gauntlet. I had 2 of these guys and they did really good work. It was just bigger than the creatures my opponent managed to get on the board, and the 3 to the face is certainly not irrelevant either. I did have other creatures out, so these guys when they landed were able to put their counter on something else, and they ended up being 5/4s on 5 and doing 3. Then I swung a couple of those guys with this card. You're going to see this card come up a bunch today. I got it in almost all, if not all, of my pre-releases, and it was huge, huge, guys. Holy cow. So in the first match I actually ended up playing the kind of the manager, owner, person of our local gaming shop comic readers here, Brett, and every time I went to report my match results to him, I said, 2-0, insult to injury. And he just like, what? Because I ended up playing him, beat him with this card a couple times, and I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. Sorry, Brett, if you're watching this. But this card is ridiculous, because basically what it did every time I played it almost was, did 4 to their face, removed a blocker, and I swung for 10, at least 10. When I was playing Brett, I think it was 12 that I ended up swinging for, but it was just ridiculous. So that was game 1. Game 2, Brett opened as foretold, so he managed to get out game 2. It just built up, built up, built up. He played like 4 drops, 5 drops for free, plus whatever else he had in his hand. He had got some flyers out. We both had Aven Initiate and Shimmerscale Drake. He got those out, and he ended up beating me in game 2. In game 3, he did manage to drop as foretold again, but I managed to out-aggro it, luckily, with Rhonas, that was also in my pool, the Indomitable. This guy was ridiculous. I dropped his Trial. I dropped Rhonas, then I dropped his Trial, which activated Rhonas, and then I played Insult to Injury again, removing his blocker, doing, what would that be, 18 or more to him? Again, just a ridiculous amount. Insult to Injury was my MVP of the entire weekend by far. Alright, moving on to round 2. We're talking about, in this game, my opponent got kind of mana screwed. I played it a little conservatively, but given my deck, I think I should have been a little more aggressive, but it ended up okay. I did end up winning that round as well. He was mana screwed. I just drew out more aggro with Emberhorn Minotaur. I had a couple of these guys as well, just 5/4s with Menace, and you're able to alternate them. They were just really good for me as well. Did have some really good black, again, Insult to Injury won me the game. Did have some really good black-red removal. In game 2, my opponent did manage to kind of curb me a little bit, did win a game, but again, Insult to Injury being the VIP for the week, being the MVP for the weekend, just really drove me for round 2. For round 3, I managed the Brute Strength and Insult to Injury combo just was ridiculous. The fact that Brute Strength also gives Trample when I have something big, like the combo I ended up winning round 3 with was the Emberhorn Minotaur, Insult to Injury, Emberhorn Minotaur, Insult to Injury, and Brute Force. So I was able to get Menace off, give it Trample, and double its damage, and remove a blocker, and I swung for ridiculous amounts. I ended up going 3-0, but our midnight release, we actually did 3-round releases all weekend, just to help move things along, especially at midnight. I left about 4 o'clock, went to bed about 4:30, and I worked at 9 the next day, so I didn't get a ton of sleep. But ended up going 3-0. Tiebreakers gave me second place because there was another 3-0 as well, but still went home with 9 packs, and we're going to open these, and we're going to take a look to see what I got from our midnight pre-release right now. Alright guys, so here we go, opening our prize packs from our first pre-release. Let's have a look and see what we got. We're just kind of jumping straight to the rares. That's how I open packs, so that's what we're going to do. Ooh, we got an Angel of Sanctions. That's the O-Ring Angel from the set. Really cool to have that token. Full Art Forest. Oh, and Glorybringer. This guy was one of the bombers you were hoping to open for your pre-release. And definitely, I think could see some standard plays, so we'll happy to have that. And our uncommons. Vizier of Remedies, Synchronized Strike, and Oketra's Monument. The monuments were pretty cool in pre-release if you were able to open one, so the blue one did some work. It was hard to get the black one to do a lot of work because you did have to have a lot of creatures in order for that to go off. Land and Commit to Memory. Commit is put target spell or non-land permanent onto its owner's library from second from the top. And Memory says each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into his or her library and draws 7 cards. Kind of Wheel of Fortune-esque. Yeah, I've Open to Wonder, Scale Behemoth, played that a couple times this weekend, and Renewed Faith, which I didn't get to play, but I was kind of excited to if I would have got to. Alright, pack 3. We have our token, our land, and Cruel Reality. This one's really cool to open in pre-release. I did play against a couple guys who had it. Luckily, they didn't get it casted against me, but really, really powerful if you do manage to get there. And Mythic. Can't complain. Uncommon, Hazoret Monument, Lay Claim, and Grasping Dunes. Alright. We have our Insect token. Swamp. And Heart Piercer Manticore. And again, another good, really good pre-release card. If you can open this up in Limited, you're going to have a good time with it, I think. We have Sixth Sense, Bone Picker, and the White Trial of Solidarity for our uncommons. Token. Island, Full Art. And Sweltering Sun. The best way I heard somebody put this weekend, it's not the anger we want, it's the anger we deserve right now. Alright, we got our Aven Wing Guide, Island, and our Combat Celebrant. This is one that gives you an extra combat phase if you exert it, but it is also our second Mythic in 6 packs, so can't complain about that. And our uncommons. There's nothing too special uncommon in this set that I really want. There's a few good rares and stuff, just like any set, but I think I'm going to have a lot of fun drafting this set, though. Labyrinth Guardian token, Mountain, Foil Compelling Argument, and Anointed Procession. This is the token doubler, which did a lot of good work. I did play against a black-white token deck that I was a little scared of. But I'd only got 1 copy of that, and it didn't manage to get it out every time, so I was able to do all right against him. Plains and Dispossess. Might see some play in Standard because the artifacts, you can just name something if you're playing against Mardu vehicles, you know it. But this is one of my promos, and I was not happy about playing as my promo. I only actually played with one of my promos this weekend, that being the O-Ring Angel, and it did good. That was the only promo I played, though. The other cards, while they were alright, like Dispossess, they just not in a limited environment. Vigilance token, Forest, and Pyramid of the Pantheon. So our mana ramp rock. So we got some good cards. Nothing overly crazy, no Gideons or anything, but hey, they were free. I got them because I won. So let's head back and check out round 2. Alright, so we're back. So that was our first pre-release. My second pre-release I went to, I worked 9 to 3, so I missed our noon pre-release here in Medicine Hat. I went to the 4 o'clock one. Again, I ended up going Jund. I just had some really good value creatures. Cut Ribbons was really good for me. It's a removal spell and drains late in the game. Fling and Onwards to Victory. How can you turn down that? I want to fling somebody real bad. So we went on that. Really good combo. The card I did get in there was the Merciless Javelineer. As you can see, this guy was really good for me for this deck. I didn't mind discarding cards. did get kind of color screwed once, so this just helped me discard my green cards and turn them into counters and damage because it made my opponent's creatures unable to block as well. So the interesting combo I got here was the combo between Horror of the Broken Lands and the Merciless Javelineer. Merciless Javelineer lets me discard cards and lets an opponent's creature unable to block. Horror of the Broken Lands gets bigger every time I discard a card, so I was able to, with these two, swing for 20 over 2 turns. 8 one turn, 12 another turn. And it was just gross, and I won round 1 pretty quickly with that little combo. Round 2, didn't go as well for me in that one. My green cartouche that I played tried to remove something of my opponent's, it would have really swung the balance back. It was countered, so couldn't play that. My creature was dead. Opponent just swung in pretty quick and won that way. In game 3, I was kind of just color screwed. I didn't draw any red mana when some of my really good cards were red, and just couldn't cast anything. That was round 2. Round 3 for me was better. Ended up playing Colossopede, Emberhorn Minotaur again, some really good value creatures. Onward. I ended up played Onward. I had Emberhorn Minotaur out and the Colossopede. They blocked the Emberhorn Minotaur to try and trade with it to get the menace off the board. Played the Colossopede, played Onward at instant speed, hit them for 10, and then played Fling to fling it at their face for the last 10. That's living the dream right there, is when you're able to do that. Again, Cut Turbans was one of my main MVPs of the deck. This is just having a look at it here. Dealing 4 damage to a target creature, and Ribbons drained for, I think, 5 and 6 couple of times, but again, just not in that. In round 2, wasn't good enough for that. My opponent, for round 3, I did have Approach of the Second Sun, so I was a little terrified of this. They really gummed up the ground with a lot of little white guys. I just kept blocking. I couldn't get my bigger green and red creatures through. So they played Second Sun. After a couple turns, they played 0-3 that can sack and to fetch for something. So they actually shuffled Approach back in. He did do this on accident, but at that point I'm terrified. It could be 2 cards from the top, it could be on the bottom, I don't know. So my opponent, I do manage to whittle down their board a little bit, and I swing all out, and I put my opponent down to, I think it was about 8. They took it because my board was empty. They draw their card, they drew Second Sun. They swing for damage, they had 1 Vigilance guy left, so they swing for damage. Before damage, I managed to pull one of the most fun cards in the set, Glorious End. So they swung for damage, I ended the turn. Before damage happened, before they were able to, they did happen to draw the Approach of the Second Sun again, so I cut that one condition off, cut the damage off, and because they swung out after I had swung out with my board open, playing the Glorious End, all my stuff untapped, and I swung back in for the win. I had the Glorious End in my hand from the opening of the game, and it just, because I knew my opponent had Approach of the Second Sun, I thought, okay, if this does happen, it's going to happen late game, I can maybe get damage there, and it did manage to work out that way. Luckily enough for me, so it was really close game. Glorious End, I did sideboard it. I didn't put it in main deck, I did sideboard it, and I think that was the right decision, because it's only playable on that 1 turn of the game, right? It did happen on the weekend here where someone did unfortunately forget the second clause, where at the beginning of your next end step you lose the game. They did forget that, they did lose the game, so I ended up finishing 2-1 during the second pre-release that I played in. Now that brought us 1 prize pack. Let's go see what's in it. Alright guys, didn't do as well in round 2, but let's take a look and see what we got in our prize pack. And maybe we got a Gideon. You never know. You never really know. So our advertisement, Swamp, and Black Belcher. I really like this guy. I'm happy about having, I think this is my 3rd copy now, counting the pre-releases, so happy about having him in there. Thank you, Plague Belcher. Alright, now let's go back and take a look at pre-release number 3. Alright, so that was our prize pack from the second pre-release that I was involved in. So, 3rd pre-release I was involved in was Sunday at noon, so I went Friday midnight, Saturday 4, Sunday noon, Saturday 4. First round was a bye. Hey, I'm not going to complain. I was a little disappointed because I thought the bye gave you the worst possible tiebreakers. What I didn't know is it gave you the best possible tiebreakers. So we'll come to that later. Round 2 came in. I just had really good removal and good aggressive cards again. I actually went Mardu in this, so red, black, white cards. So cut ribbons again was really good for me. Splendid Agony was awesome, killed multiple creatures more than once, playing as a combat trick and just when your opponent plays X1s, right? It was a good card. Trial of Ambition killed multiple gods throughout the entire weekend. In fact, in one turn I did Trial of Agony into I Splendid Agony into Trial of Ambitions, so killed their creature other than their god, right? Because they just would have sacrificed the other creature. So I killed their other creature, made them sack their god, and that felt real good. And just with Compulsory Rest again, went Mardu, so that pacifism their creature. It just was a good day. When I draw that much removal in those colors, I'm going to play that because my creatures weren't as strong as my other pools, but when I have this much removal in those colors, I'm going to play them. I actually opened 4 Magma Sprays. I think I played one, I sided in another one in a second deck against an Embalm strategy, but just I'd rather have these permanent things like the -1 counters, the pacifism effect, the just kill that kind of thing. That I just personally did those instead of the Magma Sprays. But so game 1, I just had good removal and good aggro creatures, like again, Emberhorn Minotaur, really good common. Definitely exerted this guy. I don't know if I ever didn't exert this guy, to be honest with you. Game 2 came up, so I won game 1. Game 2 came up, I was just mana screwed. This only happened, I think, 3 times over the entire weekend. Out of 12 matches that I did play, it only happened 3 times. So really can't complain about that. And then start to finish combined with, so game 2 lost, game 1 won, game 2 lost, game 3 start to finish combined with Manticore, the Gauntlet, cast out again, just really good, that white removal. White Cartouche making my guy's first strike was really good. So just kind of these aggro cards with a good removal over time just really grinded out my opponent. For round 3, only went 2 games again. My opponent, I was lucky enough, had very little removal, and I drew my hand that was more just the aggressive creatures, like our Emberhorn Minotaur again. Just was able to outclass Emberhorn Minotaur. When you give it first strike is really ridiculous. When you draw the Trials of Agony, Splendid Agony, removing his things. When you draw Compulsory Rest, pacifying his things so they can't block. Just this deck was good. I won 2 games with it. If I did have to play a 3rd round, I'm not sure I would have necessarily won with it, but I just got the right draws with this. I wasn't as pleased with this deck going in, but it did end up going 3-0 for me. Consuming Fervor, I also had in the deck, which was a really good combo with Vizier of Remedies. I had those guys out on the field at the same time. So Vizier of Remedies, Consuming Fervor puts -1/-1 counter on your creature. When you have Vizier of Remedies, it doesn't. So I was pretty happy about that. It was a good little combo that I took advantage of, and it was a good thing too. And also had the Horror of the Broken Lands. I didn't have the Minotaur in this deck, but Horror of the Broken Lands is a 4/4 when I did have a couple of cycling cards in the deck and a couple of red discard cards. It did get pumped, I think, to a 6/5 once, and just a 4/4. Sometimes you need just those. I personally noticed it in this format. Just good value creatures really perform in this. Good value creatures, good removal. I did get a couple of good rares in a couple of my pools. Obviously, the Insult to Injury. I think this was the only pool I didn't get that in. But like the good, big, stompy red creatures, while they did do well and did make an impact, I actually got the O-Ring Angel in this pack as well. That was another one of the reasons I really played it. So I did get good removal, good creatures, but just I think the value commons and uncommons in a limited format when you're playing sealed like this draft, you might again stick to your theme. You can make a really strong theme deck, but I did like just my really good value creatures in this format. It was a lot of fun. So because I went 2-0 when I actually played matches and I had the best possible tiebreakers in my 3-0, we actually won this pre-release. We won 12 packs. So hey, right now we are going to have a look and see if I got anything good in these ones. We'll be right back with our review of our 4th round after we open these. Alright, who knew the buy was worth this much? So we have 12 packs to go through. Let's get cracking. I feel like there's some kind of merfolk joke there, but I got nothing right now. Oh, our big worm token. Full Art Swamp. Failure to comply. So this is the remand without drawing card, and then your opponent can't cast spells. So you can put it back in their hand, instantly, and then on your next turn, you can say, oh, no, you're not going to cast that. So. Not bad. Solid for a control deck. It's kind of like 2 counter spells. In a way. Labyrinth Guardian, Full Art Plains. We're getting a lot of those full arts. And Hazoret's Favor. Not bad. I don't see it going anywhere personally, but yeah, for free I can't complain. If Hazoret's Favor gave Trample, like if it turned anything into like a lightning ball, then okay, but not the way it is. Swamp, Shiny Giant Spider, and Throne of the God Pharaoh. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. Seems good, but you're going to have to tap some creatures. I don't know. If you want to hear what I think about all these cards in depth, just check out our set review videos in the channel as well. Kind of just opening these packs and going through the pre-releases in this video. So, Forest Plains and Oracle's Vault. I believe this is the exile top card of your library, cast it for free. Maybe play that card for free. I'd rather play As Foretold personally. If I'm playing that kind of control-y deck, where I can play As Foretold, I'm probably going to have a bunch of other spells that draw me cards as well. That's kind of the red effect where you exile it and you can cast it for now if you want. So, Forest and Dispossess. I'm up to my playset. I don't know about you, but that's my playset of Dispossess. So I don't want to open any more. You hear me? No more. Just because I got mad at it, it's going to be a Dispossess now. Insect, Plains, Foil Trial of Solidarity. That's kind of pretty. It's foil in there. And Prowling Serpapard. This is a sideboard. These kinds of cards have been around before, and they've been sideboard against control decks. Problem is, dropping that turn 3 when Essence Scatterers in Standard could be difficult. Well, also, I suppose it can't be countered, but definitely could be a sideboard card against control decks for creature decks. Again, Full Art Plains. Soulscar Mage. This guy's kind of cool. I like him. Turns all your burn into -1/-1 counters. That's my second one of him, counting all the pre-releases. I did play him in one of my decks. Like I said, I played red and black in every deck I played this weekend. So, all right, Prepare to Fight. Instant speed +2/+2 lifelink, and fight just says it does exactly what it sounds like it does. Really wouldn't mind a foil Prepare to Fight. That'd look really pretty. Don't think it's worth a ton, but not everything has to be worth a lot of money. Ooh, this is one of the guys I wanted. Vizier of the Menagerie. This is real good. Happy about pulling this guy for sure. I have a commander deck. This is going right in. Alright. Vigilance Token. Full Art Swamp again. Insult to Injury. There's my playset, guys. I got 3 or 4 of my releases. There's a playset. Fear my Insult to Injury. A copy of that might go in my commander deck as well, to tell you the truth. Plains and Foil Grasping Dunes. Shiny. And Glorybound Initiate. This guy's really cool. I did get one of these guys as well, but I didn't get a lot of white support enough to play him. It's one of the times I played Jund. So this is one, if you check out the white set review, this guy in Always Watching is kind of broken. Check it out. And our final pack of our prize packs from my third pre-release. Got a couple good pulls in this one, then. Zambi. Swamp. And Bantu the Glorious, or the Glorified, sorry. I do like my Aristocrat-style decks. Might try this in my commander deck. My commander deck is a Prosh, so Jund theme, kind of Aristocrat-style deck. but this isn't free, so that makes me a little nervous about doing it, but more cycles is better. Alright guys, so that was our last pack opening for my third pre-release. Let's go back and see how my fourth and final pre-release went. Alright guys, we are back to take a look at my fourth and final pre-release. For this pre-release I did end up going Jund again. I got a couple cool rares in this one actually. I didn't play a lot of my rares in some of my other pools. Well, I didn't get a lot of the rare creatures anyway, but I did get this lady, Channeler Initiate. Actually did really well for me because in round 1, game 1, I actually was able to, with her, ramp out some of the big value creatures that I got, along with Cartouche of Strength on those big value creatures. Those creatures turn into removal spells in more ways than one. They turn into, for example, Claw Speed turns into a 6/6 trample that just killed something also, right? So game 1, round 1, was able to just out aggro, remove my opponent's stuff, and have a good time. Game 2, also in my pool again, I told you I got some good rare creatures in this going Jund. I got Plague Belcher. Was pumped to play this guy. So Plague Belcher usually came in. He never put his counters on himself, which I was really happy about doing because he has Menace. I only had 2 other zombies in the deck, so his losing 1 life wasn't a big theme going around it, but it was still really fun. So again, with Plague Belcher in there, I actually managed to go really aggro again, turn him into an 8/7. He attacked, killing 2 of my opponent's things. Little spoiler, he attacked, killing 2 of my opponent's big creatures, and then my opponent failed to draw any more creatures, and I finished winning through my big Colossipedes and other big value Jundy creatures. So round 1. Round 2, we moved on. So I was just able again in game 1, go super aggro, draw the green Cartouche again, remove my opponent's creatures, and win that way. Game 2, told you, MVP of the weekend, Insult to Injury, was ridiculous. I had a little bit of trouble with mana initially, but again, I got my Plague Belcher out, I Insult to Injury, I removed their blocker, Plague Belcher swung in for 10, plus the 4 I hit them in the face for from Insult to Injury. Cannot talk enough about this card, guys. I am definitely going to be looking out for this in drafts going forward, because if you get to 6 mana, I'll put it this way, what I said all weekend when I was actually at the store, I did not play this card and lose. Like, any game I cashed this card in, I won. Right? Because it can just make blocking super difficult for your opponent, especially with like my Emberhorn Minotaurs with Menace and my Emberhorn Minotaurs with Menace, my Plague Belcher with Menace. When they have to block it and it's gonna kill 2 things and they've already hit 4 in the face, if you have anything else that's out there, it's gonna hit them for a bunch, and believe me, it did. So we won with Manticore the Gauntlet again. I had 1 copy in there too, so just the big value Jund creatures, the 4, 5, 6 drops in Jund were really, really good. So we won round 2 in there as well, thanks to those cards and the Cartouche of Strength. Match 3 did not go as well for us. My opponent played out Initiate's Companion, turn 2. I'm like, okay. Not bad. I didn't have my turn 2 play. I didn't draw super well. Then they put the Cartouche of Solidarity on it, which kind of mixed me up just a little bit. It had a 4/2 first striker. If you've watched this, like, Plague Belcher's a 5/4, the Manticore's a 5/4. I wasn't able to get to a Colossipede, and just out aggroed me, which I had a pretty good weekend. I can't complain about it. Game 2 in match 3, I kept Swamp Mountain, 3 red and black cards and 2 green cards, and continued to draw swamps, mountains, and green creature cards. So it's gonna happen when you play 3 color. That was, I think, this happened 3 times throughout my entire weekend, through 12 matches. I got mastered 3 times when I'm playing 3 color with very little fixing. So that's just gonna happen sometimes. But overall, if the whole weekend went 10-2, I'll take that. I'll take that every time. 10-2, and we're finally going to have a look at our last prize pack, because we went 2-1 for that round. So we got 1 pack. We're going to take a look, see if we got anything good in this one. Alright guys, so you can't win them all like we learned, but still going 10-2 over the weekend seems pretty good to me, and we have our final pack to open. Alright, what are we getting in here? Let's see a Planeswalker. I haven't opened a Planeswalker. Went to 4 pre-releases, opened 21 packs so far. Haven't got a Planeswalker. Come on. And, phew! Ooh! Foil Forest. That's nice. And Archfiend Vifnir. Actually, happy about this guy too. If not a Planeswalker, I want some of these guys as well. Just to play around with some -1/-1 counters in a deck about that. That seems like it could be fun. Alright, so let's go back, and I will wrap up the weekend for you guys. Alright guys, so that was you've now had my entire experience for my pre-release weekend. We're going to finish with my MVP up on the screen here, Insult to Injury. Really like playing the sealed in this format. It was a lot of fun. I'm really excited to draft this format when you can really start, because we did have there were some good Embalm decks, there were some good zombie decks, some good token decks, but when you can start to draft around it, you can really refine those themes in your deck, right? If you play sealed, you get your 6 packs, you're stuck with what you get in those 6 packs. Draft, you can really craft around a more concentrated theme like that, because you can begin drafting all of the Embalm cards that everybody keeps passing, right? One guy at the store, Ian, if you're watching, drafted really cool. He had the O-Ring Angel, I forget the name right now. He had the blue card that has the Kira Great Glass Spinner effect that counters stuff. So both of and he had the Vizier of Masks, or Vizier of Many Faces, the clone essentially for this set. So all of which have Embalm. So at one point I did hear that he had used his O-Ring Angel on something. It got destroyed. It's a target for removal. He embalmed it out of the graveyard, and then he made a token of it with his clone, so he was able to O-Ring 2 things, and that deck sounds ridiculous. I'm kind of glad I didn't have to play it, Ian. But it sounded like a fun weekend overall. I'm really excited to draft this set. It's going to be interesting to see what they're going to do, what the set's going to do to Standard. I'm going to make another video pretty quick here about the banned and restricted update as well, so make sure you guys check that out. I hope you guys had fun watching this. I had fun making it for you. I had fun with the pre-release this weekend as well. Would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe. All the help for you I can get would be seriously, seriously appreciated. We're going to start doing giveaways and stuff as well when we kind of reach up to a certain number of subscribers and views that I want. So don't forget to follow at twitch.tv/Dave865, at Dave2619 on Twitter. Put all the new videos up on Twitter. Links for you guys, not just on here. If you subscribe, you'll get all the videos as soon as I post them as well. So, guys, have an awesome, awesome rest of your day, and thanks for tuning in.